Worship.
Good afternoon, Council. I'd like to call this committee of the whole meeting for October 10th to order with adoption of the agenda to be adopted with an amendment to the community charter 90.1 sections referred to as in item 13 includes section 90.1 F and J and excludes section 90.1 K. Someone want to make that motion for me? Hesitantly, Councilor Cherry, Councilor Russo. All in favor? Motion's carried. Adoption of the minutes of the committee of the whole from September 12th. Someone want to make that motion for me? Councilor Devlin, seconded by Councilor Russo. All in favor? Motion's carried. And moving on to staff reports, fees and charges update. Ms. Moore, do you have an update, or Ms. Moore?
Thank you, Mayor Salas. So no major update. I think all of the significant changes are highlighted in the discussion paper. Basically, Ms. Moore requested that all fees be increased by 6% to accommodate for CPI for the previous 2% increase. And what was the other thing?
Through the chair, so last year prior.
That's me.
It's you, okay.
Sorry.
Can you read this? Last year prior to the union collective agreement being negotiated, the inflationary increase was set at 3%. And since then, they have negotiated a 4% lift plus 1.25% for inflationary, so 5.25%. Most of our service fees, the main cost that is associated with it is wages. So the recommendation before you today is an inflationary increase on user fees for 6%.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Any comments or questions from council regarding that?
Except for the whole fees and charges bylaw?
With the exception, sorry, through the chair.
Yes.
With the exception of the things identified in the discussion paper report. So there were a few like text updates. There were some fees that were not increased at all because they were increased beyond last year. There were some that were bumped up a little bit more to meet industry standard.
Okay.
And each of them are identified in the paper.
I do have a question for clarification about the discussion paper. If this is the appropriate time.
Appropriate.
Schedule A 13.1. Can somebody please help me understand this? Is this a reduction from 5,000 to 500 or an increase from 500 to 5,000? On page 6, top.
This is Mr. Jips.
Through your chair,
It's just delivery.
yes, so it is an increase in the it is an increase in the credit that would then be applied. So you're getting a larger discount associated with it's intended to help actually offset the additional costs associated with hiring a professional and including them in, and then the reduction of the service cost on our part as we're not the ones performing all those necessary inspections.
Perfect. No, I appreciate that. It was it was written funny.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Anyone else? Someone want to put the motion on the table for me then, please? Councilor Devlin?
I will move that the committee of the whole recommends to council that the 2025 fees and charges amendment bylaw be developed for council consideration using the proposed changes as outlined in the October 10th, 2024 committee of the whole report.
Seconder for the motion, please. Councilor Stapenhurst. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to departmental updates, Parks, Rec, and Culture third quarter report. Ms. Donato?
Thank you, Your Worship. So just in your report there's a few events that I'll just highlight. We had the Canada Day event take place this quarter. the Elify Garlic Festival, the Revelstoke Paddle Fest, and the Mega Bike Show downtown, as well as the Luna Arts Festival. Those were all well attended. This year, the Little Bear Soccer Tournament had over 100 teams participating in it. So we saw a really large crowd in the community. Everything went well from the field use perspective. I also want to highlight 2 new amenities within our park system. So one would be the cricket pitch that officially opened on July 17th. So we've been able to host some games this summer, as well as disc golf recreation club started up this summer, utilizing the new disc golf course on Powerhouse Road, and the numbers for attendance were quite high. And I believe the season will wrap up here in the next week or so.
Great. Any questions or comments from Mr. Nutter? Seeing none, I'm going to move on and I'm going to ask.
Sorry,
Council
Jerry,
Chair,
got one for you.
Council Chair, do you want to go first?
No, I'll let you have this one.
Okay, Councillor Stapleton.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Ms. Donato for the report, and I'd like to maybe ask a question as to these quarterly reports. If we could maybe make a recommendation that other departments provide quarterly reports so that we're better informed on the data, especially in regards to like development services and bylaw, as those tend to be 2 areas that we see a lot of activity in, and it would help us make better informed decisions.
I'll second the motion.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
all right. So we've got a motion on the floor. Do you want to speak to it, either one of you?
I'll speak.
Thanks, Bob.
Actually, when I was looking at this, I had the same thought. It's an upbeat report, and having the quarterly is there is, the right amount of time. There might be a consideration whether this is a place for sort of high, very, very high level financials. So things like on how we're recovering on aquatic and stuff. But I was actually thinking the same thing, that it'd be nice to see a consistency across the departments of the styles, and something that staff can take a look at.
Okay. So, Councillor Lyon.
Just a question of staff on that, on the topic regarding the CRM program that's being phased in over the next little while. I wonder if anybody in staff could weigh in on any technological opportunities that might arise from that, or anything else that's internally in terms of the topic of providing reporting, so that, for example, it's something that you could just log in to go see where it's at right now, and automatically generated based on what staff is doing, and just out of curiosity, just thinking about it for the first time right now. So, I don't know if anyone wants to.
Mr. Gibbs?
I can speak to that. As far as the CRM software that we have the current budget request in for 2025.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it would be able to, members of the public or council necessarily, to log into the system to be able to see real-time stats. However, it does allow staff to be able to pull that data in real time. All the softwares that we've been doing the demos for at this point all include that as a key feature of being able to quickly and selectively choose what you would like to have within those reports. So it definitely will expedite reduce the amount of staff time that would go into creating those quarterly reports, but not necessarily ones that would proactively be able to do it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
So we've got a motion on the table to ask staff to look into quarterly reports. Is that how I'm understanding this motion?
It's a provider looking to.
I think provide quarterly reports from each department.
And then, so do you, Mr. Parliament, I'll turn to you. Do you figure your staff has the capacity to be able to do that?
Oh, we do.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Councillor Orlando.
Your worship, I think just in terms of that, I'm all for it. I'm all for data-driven decision-making, having access to that data. My concern would be making sure we give enough direction to staff so that they come back with something that we're happy with. So maybe it'll be that, and I don't think we would do that at this point. So maybe just my suggestion would be take it a little step back and say staff to present options for those, or just that the direction generally be in that direction. Just like, how could we better be kept up to date like we are here with data-driven decisions. And I don't know what others' thoughts on that is.
Councilor Palmer.
Yeah, good comments. Since this is a recommendation going to council, we'll have some time to sort of think about for when this comes up.
Councilor Lucille.
Thanks, Marcel. Yeah, I think it would be nice with these quarterly reports, just to kind of compare it to years before, just so we can kind of see how things are progressing over the years for us. I think that would just be a nice little thing to have in there.
All right, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Councilor Cherry, you had a question?
I do. To the chair, through Mayor Sauls. Ms. Donato, can you give us a brief update on the Roseau Dog Park? Just because it's not in here, I know that was a budgetary item, I believe, last year. I'm just wondering if you can provide anything about that.
Your worship. So the dog park is a project that is being funded with RMI funds. It has not progressed any further just due to staff capacity.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm now going to ask to go in camera pursuant to section 90.1 F and J of the community charter. Someone to make that motion, Councilor Lucille, Councilor Rolando, all in favor? Motion's carried. We are now going to go in camera. Okay.